Lies! I can't believe anything over this mic. All right. Jeremy, I'm putting 7 minutes on the timer. Are you ready, sir?
I reckon I am.
Right Club audience, are you ready? Woo! Jeremy Maxwell with Lies in 3, 2, 1, begin!
The cat comes staggering down the hall into the haze of cigarette and pot smoke that hangs patchwork throughout the living room. She's listing to one side and sliding down the wall on legs that no longer support her weight. Spencer glances over and then at the blunt and then back up at nothing. Scarred knuckles and nicotine stains, he looks like G.G. Allen in those last days at the Claremont. That cat's looking for somewhere to die, he says. The light is coming through the window at sharp and sudden angles, bends and breaks in the blinds at dusk. It is winter and freezing, and our bodies are flushed with dope, and there's heat in every thought and word. Georgia looks up from the styrofoam cup she's scribbling on and shifts her eyes around the room, reaches for the blunt, and then sits smoking in shallow bursts. She used to be from someplace else, but now she's just from here, and we don't ask her about it anymore. The cat has stumbled around the perimeter of the room and disappeared into the kitchen. I light a cigarette and follow, turn on the light, and look about as Spencer and Georgia start to mutter at each other behind me. I don't see her on the floor, so I search under and behind things, the garbage can, the pile of coats, the refrigerator. I find her in the litter box, laying on her side and shuddering. I lift her out as she tries to fight against me, but her strength is gone, and I carry her in my arms through the living room, past the two of them getting louder and louder, and then we're in my bedroom, and I put her down. I fill her dish with food and set it beside her. She struggles to her feet and staggers under the bed. I can hear them arguing through the walls as I take the syringe and fill the barrel with the antibiotics from the vet. I pull her out from the darkness and hold her tight, try to get the nozzle in her mouth. She jerks away as I depress the plunger and the thick brown liquid sprays all over the dresser, the nightstand, the floor. She disappears back under the bed and I leave the mess and the room and fumble around in my pocket for more methadone as I make my way up the hall. Georgia stands next to the open front door, clutching her purse against her chest, face contorted with rage, legs shaking. "Well," she says, glaring at Spencer, "I'd tell you to go to hell, but I don't ever want to see you again." She slams the door and is gone. Spencer sits there smoking, not looking at her or the door or anything at all. He leans forward and crushes out his cigarette in the ashtray, stands and makes his way to the door. He snatches it open and fills the room with freezing air. His head turns in my direction. "You coming?" he says. And then he too is out the door and gone, and I'm alone in this house with my dying cat. I drop my cigarette in the ashtray and follow him to the car where he waits for me, for truth, for something that has never been on the way. The stairwell is dark and steep, and I linger there out of sight and wait. I hear him knock on the door 3 times, hard. There comes a muffled sound from the other side, and then he says, "It's Spencer, bitch, open the door." More mumbles from the other side, and he says, "I said, open the door." I can hear commotion coming from inside the apartment, and I know they're dragging the mattresses away from the entrance, but I don't know how much longer Spencer's going to wait before he starts kicking the door off the hinges and out of the frame. If they had any sense, they'd leave them goddamn mattresses alone. I hear the door open and then the wet crack of Spencer's head as he breaks someone's nose. I hear a girl scream, and she sounds just like Drew Barrymore. I come up out of the stairwell, and Spencer is already dragging the dude out into the hallway, shoving him to the ground. I step around him and into the apartment. I find her in the kitchen, some girl I've never seen, young and pretty and nothing like Drew Barrymore, cowering on the cracked linoleum. She sees me and screams again, and from another room, a baby starts to cry. I hear Spencer shouting, "Did you fuck her? Did you? Don't lie to me." And I take another step toward the girl. Her face is sheer panic, and now she kind of looks like Drew Barrymore after all. I reach out and touch her shoulder. "Go get your baby," I whisper, and when she doesn't move, I squeeze her arm and shake. "Go," I say, and she bolts to the back of the house. "Just go," I say again. When I get back out into the hall, Spencer's still kicking this guy, muttering under his breath. The dude isn't moving, and I grab Spencer by the arm. "Let's get out of here," I say, but he just keeps kicking and cursing and shaking. God damn it, I said let's go, I say, and drag him down the hall until he shrugs me off. Fuck's your problem, he says as we run down the steps 2 at a time. I'm worried about my cat, I say as we burst out the fire door into the cold. George's car is in the driveway. The stars pinpricks above us as we walk into the house. A moth beats his brains out against the porch light as I move past and close the door behind me. George is in the living room, scribbling on a styrofoam cup. Spencer sits down beside her, someone else's blood soaking his shirt and coating his face, and now he looks like Gigi Allen on that last night in New York. In the kitchen, I pull the cat from her litter box, take her to my bedroom. Her breathing is labored, her fur hanging off her bones. I lay her on the bed. In the bathroom, I crush some Xanax and some methadone between 2 spoons, wet it and stir it and pull it into the syringe. The same shit I'm dumping into my body by the spoonful in the morning and the evening and the night. She doesn't fight this time. I hold her in my arms and pry her jaws apart and spray the dope into her mouth. I have no idea how long this ought to take. I set her on the floor and she perks up, finding the food dish, eating for the first time in a week. She licks the bowl clean, comes back to me purring. I sit down on the floor and take her into my lap. She lies on my legs and I pet her as the muttering begins in the other room. It's going to be okay, I tell her. You're going to be all right.